Dear Dharma friends and our practitioners, today is a Sunday, the 9th of August 2026. We continue with the topic, the knowledge is the door of danger. This is for us to realize that we have no attachment to anything, always asking questions and raising down, always realize that we practicing the right Dharma, we need to attach ourselves from everything thinking in the mind, even the doubt. The patriarch always remind us the doubt will automatically sweep up everything in the mind, the knowing, the memorizations, and all the conditions created by this mind. Any dualistic aspect of mind will be swept up completely by the doubts automatically. When we ask questions, we're raising doubts, even though the doubt is objective based on the asking questions, but it will be the effective tool to help us to overcome all the sufferings and misery. So only the means, the methods from the Buddha will help us to stay away from all of those ignorance, the habits that we've been having for several lives. When we practice diligently, we believe more in our Buddha nature. If we don't believe in our Buddha nature, then we won't be able to practice effectively and won't be able to stay away from the circle of birth and death. So this practice is very simple. When you believe in your Buddha nature, ask questions and raising doubts. Keep that practice going continuously and diligently. Don't be afraid of the elusive thinking in the mind. There's nothing for us to ask for, nothing for us to achieve, and nothing for us to fear of. So just ask the questions before the heaven and the earth came to existence. What was I? So keep asking the questions and apply that to all the daily living activities. When you're facing with anything outside, when our mind in contact with all the activities from outside, we have the tendency to run after them. But if we continue to ask questions and raising doubt, even though the habit, the ignorance there to challenge us, to interfere with our practice, but because we have a chance to meet the right Dharma, we just keep on practicing as lai quả. Zen Master reminded us that even when you have a lot of illusion coming up during your practice and feel like you cannot practice anymore, what should we do? There's nothing else that we can do. Just ask questions and raising doubt. When we see or realize a lot of illusions coming up in our practice, we don't oppose or suppress these elusive thinking in the mind. Just use them as a reminder to go back to asking questions and raising doubt. Even when the tension is so much and you feel like you have a headache or your mind is so heavy, just slow down in asking questions. You can ask a question very slowly, 10 seconds for one words. So just keep on asking the questions, and when you can prolong that asking question, raising doubt, all of those illusions will be swept up automatically by it. When we realize the illusions and you can come back to asking questions, raising doubt, eventually you will be able to ignore all of these illusions in your mind. Even it's a lot or it's just a little, you can still go back to asking questions and raising doubts. Even when you feel like the doubt is so much, don't attach yourself to that, because that is just another phase of the elusive thinking of the mind. Just come back asking questions and raising doubt. Every word will be 1 second, 7 words, 7 seconds. Slow down and ask the question slowly. We can adjust our pace of asking questions. Don't be afraid of the elusive thinking in the mind. It's just like when we maneuver the boats into a storm. If you are not flexible and strong enough with no experience, then your boat can be in trouble. But if you have a strong hands, a strong mind, and has experience, you can overcome any kind of weather from outside. So it's the same for our practice. It's the same as we're using the observation wisdom, a contemplation wisdom. When we had wisdom, we will see our road clearly and continue to walk on it. We need to be very careful when we're doing our practice. When we are still in a dream, we not realizing that we are in a dream, or we know that we are in a dream, You need to wake up from that dream. So in order to wake up from the dreams, we need to ask questions and raising doubts. Always rely on a three jewel Buddhism so you can have a right view and walking on the right path. So if you have any questions or want to share your experience in practice, go ahead. Pháp hỷ, Pháp tuệ, go ahead. Through your Dharma talk, I feel in my practice, I always have that knowledge. I sometimes have interfered from the knowing, but when I listen to Lai Quả Zen Master, when we forget about our body, forget about our mind, forget about this world, it doesn't mean that we losing our sense like a rock. I realize that we just go back to the practice, go back to the learning process, and eventually we will be able to go along with the teaching of the Buddha and the patriarchs. I have a questions as you answer for a practitioner yesterday when he got your answer, he feel really good and he want to go back to the practice. He decided that he will retire. When he retire, he will practice more and more. He still feel like a little bit frustrated that he couldn't continue to practice diligently. His company still relied on him a lot, and he worried that if he retired, he will avoid contact with his company. He still have that worry in him about his company. Could you help him with this? When you're working that long in a company, you will have a connections and attachment to that company. If we are not careful to transform that feelings in living in this world, then it might become a contradictions, become the frustrations in this life, and it becomes the suffering, the misery in this life if we don't know how to practice correctly. It doesn't mean that we will give up everything to just focus on the practice. We still can share our experience with the companies, and we also share the an experience in our practice to our friends so they can practice too. So just because the feeling of having the benefit or interest in this life or in this job, that's why we attach ourselves to those thinking. Our companies always want to be success. They don't want uh, to be a loser. So that's why they always attach to the success in life, and they're afraid of losing that benefit. So we, as the main factors of the companies, you need to share with them your views in successful. It's not only the benefits, the interest that they can run after, but also the teaching of knowing the right Dharma so they can practice to detach themselves from them. So, as the right father, you need to teach your kids to deal with everything in life and teach them the way to practice the right Dharma too. You don't just give them the benefits, the interest in the job, but you can give them the way of practice so they can understand the main thing, the benefits, the values of the um, the values of the money. So when you not just giving the kids everything, uh, all the money that he asked for, but you gave them just enough to deal with life, and he need to face with all the situation in life himself and be stronger and learn from his experience with life. He will be successful later on in life because of those experience that he had. So the when the kids success in life, he came back and paid back to the parents, the father. He already learned the story. He already learned the experience, and he's already knew the values of how to use the money effectively, and that is the effective way to help his kids. Another story that when a father is a doctor, he knew that his kids had the illnesses, so he had all kind of medication to help his kids, but his kids is so playful. They don't want to take the medications, so the father decided to leave the house with all those medications, instruction for the kids, and told a friend to tell the kids that your father had passed away. So the kids, when he heard the news, they afraid, and they knew that they had the illnesses. They started to take the medication with the instruction from the father to overcome or recover their illnesses. So the means that the father gave the kids, he taught the kids to value the money and know how to deal with their life from gaining the experience of life, will help the kids to be stronger. So living in this world, if we had the experience in life, we know how to practice the right Dharma. Just go on and focus on ourselves. And when we can focus on ourselves, we can help others to don't let that attachment to interfere with our practice. You need to believe in the cause and effects, and that will help you to overcome the suffering of this life. And when you can overcome that suffering, you can help others too. When we get closer to the end of our life, we don't have much time left in order to do. So the problem with your companies, you don't just carry them on your back all the time. When you show them experience already, they learn from you already. Now they need to apply that into the running of their company. And when they go through all those problems, based on the cause and effect that they had, they will deal with life the way that they had, based on the cause and effect. Is that understandable? Yes, I hope that he can understand that. Thank you for your words. Pháp Hỷ, you next. Based on your teaching, your Dharma talk, I'd like to share my experience previously my practice always running after the words, the understanding. When you know one word, that's the facing of the door of danger. Before I just attach myself to that and I avoid the knowing. I sometimes thinking that only practice and that's enough. I don't need to ask questions. I don't need to know anything. But when I ask questions and I have the help from you in the Dharma talk, eventually I realize only the practice, the real practice, the true practice, the doubt will sweep up all these knowing for us. We don't put in our intention to sweep up these knowledge. So we don't attach ourselves to words. We don't attach ourselves to the emptiness. And we don't attach ourselves to anything. If we attach ourselves to anything, which means we go in the wrong path. So going through a long times, when I got the teaching from you, I realized that, and I like you to help me a little bit more on this. And that is the illness, the common illness from all practitioners. If we don't practice correctly, then that illness will stay with you for long. It's just because of the attachment that we had. That's why we have the tendency to attach ourselves to words, to understanding, to knowledge. So all the knowing that we have is the problem or the door of danger. When we said that we need the doubt to practice, it's not that we're forcing to have the doubt. That means we attach ourselves to the meanings of the doubt. It's just like the space cannot stay away from the light. The light will shine within the space. Both have no relation to each other, but they need each other to work effectively. So our practice, we need to practice correctly in order to realize the meanings from the Buddha and the patriarchs. When we said that asking questions, raising doubts, the doubt automatically sweep up everything in the mind for us. We don't put in our intentions to do so, but when we have the doubt will do it automatically. So just like in this body, we have the illnesses, so all the symptoms will be appear in this body. In order to get back to the healthy life, we need to fix the illness And when the illness is over, we recover from our illnesses, then the healthy body will be appeared automatically. As Vinyak Sutra, the Buddha said that when you got enlightenment already, you won't come back to the illusions anymore. So, as the Buddha gave us an example that when you are sleeping, you had the dream, and in the dream, you will be affected by all the things happening in the dreams. However, when you awaken, you will realize that the dreams are not true. It's not the right things. It's not a fake or right. When you awaken from the dream, you don't put in your mind to explain if it's true or not true anymore. So it's just like you had when you in the dreamings during the sleep, you don't need to practice. You just need to wake up from that dream. But now, when you have the open eye dreamings, and in order to wake up from that, you need to practice diligently, continuously in order to wake up from that. Another example that the Buddha gave us, it's just like a gold in the gold ore. The gold is already inside of the ore. It just mixed with others components. When we purified the gold from other components, then the gold will be a pure gold. And when it's a gold already, it cannot be come back to the ore. So in our practice, we need the doubt. In order to get the doubt, we need to ask the question continuously and diligently. And that doubt will sweep up everything for us automatically. We don't need to put in that intention to sweep up anything. That doubt is just like a light to help us to go through a dark place, a dark cave. And when we can go through that cave, we can see the sunlight outside, and we don't need that light anymore when we go out of the cave. Is that understandable? Yes. Thank you for your words. Pháp tuệ again. I'd like to ask another questions. When we think about the mind, we always want to arrange, want to put in our intentions. We didn't realize that the doubts have done everything for us already without our intentions to do so. So anything that going on in our mind, the doubt will help us to complete the job automatically. As like quả, Zen Master said that the doubt is very strong. It can do everything automatically. Could you please help us on this? So when we practice the right Dharma, we need to have the right doubt. When we not having the right doubt yet, we need to ask the questions and raising doubt. When we have doubt or not having doubt, we still go back to asking questions continuously and diligently. Eventually, we will have doubt. So when you make a vow, the Bodhi vow to practice, when we make the Bodhi vow, which means we make a vow to not attaching to anything until we get the ultimate goal that we're not attaching to anything in this mind, even that mind of not attachment. When we still have the knowing, the knowledge in our mind, we need to go back to the practice. When you still know that you have the practice, or you still know that you don't have the practice, just go back asking questions and raising doubt. When we reach the ultimate goal of the roots of all ignorance, or the pre-thinking aspect of mind, the doubt will be broken. It's just like when we reach that pre-thinking aspect of mind, that just like we use the enemy soldier to surround the headquarters of the general and capture the general. So when we reach that state of mind, the doubt will be broken on its own, and we will see our own Buddha nature. As the Buddha encouraged us that from the beginning, when you make a vow, the Bodhi vows, until you reach the ultimate goal, you always remember your original vow that you made. When you reach your goal, you never lose that original Bodhi vows that you have made. If you forgot your original vows, Bodhi vows, which is not attachment to anything, and you do everything, that can be the problem with your practice. Your Bodhi vow is important that because it will help you to detach yourself from everything. All the realms of practice, you will detach yourself from there. When you reach that ultimate goal, everything will be enough. All achievement will be in there. Everything that you ask for already there. You don't need to ask for anything. You don't need to achieve anything when you reach that state of mind. So just keep asking questions and raising doubt. Is that understandable? Yes. Thank you for your words.